Hey everybody, Andre here, and today we are celebrating 5,000 subscribers. I am just blown away by the amount of support that I've gotten over the past several years, and especially this past year. I mean, the growth has just been exponential. And people have really taken to these daily shorts that I've been doing, these chord progression shorts, these composition shorts, and I'm going to keep doing them. Maybe I'll miss a day or two because doing them daily is kind of crazy, but I think that it's just been such an incredible growing period, and I'm just so thankful for all of you for your continued support. So please continue watching the videos and continue enjoying them, and I will continue making them. Today, I want to take a few moments to talk about the future, where this channel is going to be going, and answer a few questions. So I've accumulated many amazing comments over the past several years. Some comments were a little spicy. Some comments were maybe not as fun, but the vast majority of comments were absolutely awesome and so encouraging, so great. And there were many recurring questions that came up. So I thought I would address some of those recurring questions in this video. So let's start with the future of the channel. The channel exists first and foremost to be sort of my digital portfolio, so to speak. So it's a place where I can put my compositions. It's a place where I can put my music theory things, my analysis videos, and also a place where I can put cover songs, which I don't do too much anymore. I'll do one occasionally, but that has sort of taken a back seat to my primary goal, which is composition and music education. So that will continue to be the case. I'm going to be really focusing on keeping these scrolling score videos coming out. I have two pieces that I'm working on right now. I'm working on an SATB choir piece, and I'm also working on a sax quartet. I've been working on the sax quartet for like 4 years, and I keep dumping these drafts, but I finally hit something that I really like. So hopefully, by I don't want to give myself a deadline, but at some point in the near future, there will be a sax quartet that will be available to show. So that's the main goal of this channel, is to be my digital portfolio. The secondary goal, which has sort of interestingly drawn all these amazing views, are these daily shorts. And these daily shorts, these composition shorts, not only do I think that they provide something really valuable to the viewers, because it's a really easily digestible way of just learning something new or reinforcing something that you already know or getting inspired to write something interesting, but it's also a way for me to keep my chops up. It forces me to practice, forces me to be really efficient with my time. And I somehow I both find new ideas to work with, and I also reinforce that there are certain things in my musical vocabulary that I just really enjoy. And I've been toning in on those as well. So it's just been a really great experience on all fronts. So that's really the primary goal of this channel. So where do we go from here in terms of growth? In the immediate future, I want to expand my YouTube membership program. So I've had this membership program for a while now. I've been eligible to do it. And I have one YouTube member. Thank you. You know who you are. I really appreciate you. Um, but I want to expand that program, and I want to it's great if you want to just contribute, just to contribute. I mean, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. But I want to give something back. So I have two ideas for that, which are going to hopefully come into fruition by the spring. The first of those ideas is to make some of my music available to you as part of being a member. So if you become a YouTube member on my channel, you'll have infinite access to my sheet music for my organ preludes, of which there are 10, and some of my piano music, which is coming up. I have some harmonizations, I have some arrangements that you could have access to. I have an enormous amount of sheet music that could be useful for folks. So I want to have that be an option. I also, in the not immediate but somewhat near future, I want to create a compilation of my chord progressions, or at least the quote unquote best chord progressions that I've done in my shorts, just to have a running list, a running tally of the things that I think could be useful for folks, and lay them out in a number of different ways. Lay them out in Roman numeral form for where it is applicable, write it out in lead sheet form for where it is applicable, and actually take the time to write out some arrangements of things in sheet music, and perhaps that can be available for some like a higher tier of membership or something. But that's going to be available down the line. But that is sort of the plan for the YouTube membership program. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can become a member, and that is my immediate plan. So I'm actively working on those things. Another thing that has been asked of me is to create a Discord for this community. And this community, I love seeing your comments because there's people that keep recurring, and the devoted viewers that comment and come back. And it's so cool. And I think it would be really great to have some community where you can interact with one another. So the problem with that is I'm kind of bad at social media. I don't really spend too much time on social media. I don't like chat with people on Messenger too often. I don't chat with people on Instagram. It's not really my thing. So this Discord idea, it might take a little bit of time. It might wait until we hit 10,000 subscribers. But we'll see. It's I just want you to know that it's on my mind, but it's not a high priority. But it'll probably come into existence sometime in the relatively near future. Let's put it that way. So then what's next? Content what's the content portion of my channel going to be like for the next little while? Well, like I said, I have scrolling score videos that are going to be coming up. I have a few recordings of prior pieces that I'm slowly obtaining permission for to post on my channel, which is really awesome. I want to do some more. Back in the day, back during COVID, I was doing these Reddit music theory subforum reaction videos, and those are super fun. So I might go back to that because sometimes there's some absolutely crazy things that get posted on that subreddit. And then just continuing on with these shorts. And if you have any ideas for what you would want to see from me, let me know in the comments below, because I really, it's awesome for me to just give you what I like, but I would love to give back. And if there are specific things that you would like to see me tackle, I know there's one commenter has asked me to play a piece of music, and I have been looking at this piece of music and just like it's just right there on the cusp of my technical skill to play. But by golly, I'm gonna practice. It might take me some time, but if you have these kinds of things, I would love to play them. And there have been a lot of people who have submitted chord progressions, and I've played those chord progressions on my shorts, which is awesome. I love doing that, and I love reinterpreting those ideas too. So let me know if you have anything specific that you want me to tackle. All right, I want to finish this video with just a few Q&A things that have come up. And so I have this list here in front of me, and I'll answer a few of these questions. So the first question I'll answer is, are you at a college in a music room? I can't figure out where you are. So this is an interesting thing. I lead a very diverse life. I wear many hats. I teach at two different universities. I am also a professional singer. I'm a conductor. I am a composer. I have a farm. I have a family. I do lots of different things. So because of my chaotic schedule, I am forced to record when I can. So very often you'll see the shorts done in my office at one of the schools that I work at. Sometimes you'll see me just pop into a random classroom in that university and just bust out a video real quick. Sometimes I'll do it in my church where I am a music director. Sometimes I'll do it at my house, and I have a wonderful music studio in my own house that I used to do a lot of videos in, and I love that space. But I just frankly, I don't even have time to go in there these days, and it's just one of those things. So where I am, I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. I've been doing lots of videos in lots of different places. You come up with these yourself, right? Do you have a score for this or did you make it up? So this kind of goes back to that membership thing. So do you have a score for this? Do you make these up? For the shorts, 95% of them are improvised, right on the spot. I take the chord progression that I'm working with or the compositional idea that I'm working with, and I improvise because that is part of my creative outlet. I love improvisation. I love this idea of take something and grow and just make something beautiful, make something magical with it. So yeah, I come up with them myself. There have been a few instances where I've taken somebody else's thing and I play around with, like the chord progressions that viewers submit, or I analyzed a friend of mine's, one of his choral pieces that Voce 8 did. And so I took the opening chord progression and I played that and just work around with it. But most of the time, it's something that I'm creating and it's something that I'm improvising right on the spot because that's awesome. Now, do you have a score for this? That is one of the things that I'm hoping to make happen on the YouTube membership program. So stay tuned for that. This is so beautiful. May I have your permission to make a song out of these chords? Yes, you have my permission to make a song out of these chords. In fact, that is the primary reason why I started making these shorts in the first place. If you look back, I think 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I made my first one where I talked about, some chords. And I did it on a sheet of paper and I held it up in front of the camera. I said, here, check out these cool chords. And from that point on, it's really just like, here, take this idea, run with it. What can you do with this idea? I think that's awesome, and please run with it. If you have if you end up having a piece of music that gets done or recorded, or you make a song with it and whatever, just drop a link to it in the comment of the video. I would love to see what you did with that chord progression. I think that would mean the world to me. Just seeing how this stuff can get out into the ether. So yes, you have my permission. Please steal. That's great. As long as you don't steal my actually original compositions and claim them to be your own. That's not okay. But you can take these chord progressions and run with them and see what you can do. Here's a somewhat critical one that I really want to talk about because many people have asked this question or made this statement. In your videos, it would be better if you play the example first and then explain it. So I've tried this. I have tried this several times for several videos, and I'll tell you that the YouTube algorithm seems to not like it as much. And I don't know why that is. I can't explain it, but the videos typically where I start playing first just don't get as many views as the ones where I talk first. And I can't explain it. I don't know why. But also at the same time, it's kind of my thing. I want to approach it for here, let me describe the thing. Let me give you this idea and then take that idea and run with it. Because that's how I improvise. I don't improvise by going, oh no, blah, 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 and then let's talk about it. I always, in every single piece that I've ever made, I start with a little thing. And then I take that little thing and I go with it. But that little thing's always pre planned because that's just how I work. So while I appreciate the criticism and potentially helpful comment, I have tried it out and it doesn't seem to work. So I'm going to keep with this plan, and every now and then maybe I'll start by playing, but unless the YouTube algorithm starts to like that, I think I'm going to keep with my current model. Here's another one that comes up every now and then is tune your piano. So when I'm at my church or when I'm at my home office, I have a digital keyboard that I can work with and I never have to worry about tuning, which is awesome. But of course, the sound of an acoustic piano is really nice and really is preferable to me. I much prefer the acoustic piano. But with acoustic pianos comes the challenge of tuning them. And when you work at a university, there's a lot of pianos. And very often, the pianos that are in offices are not as, it's not the top priority of the tuner. We have one tuner that's responsible for 100 200 instruments. That's an enormous workload. So they prioritize the pianos in the practice rooms. They prioritize the pianos in the classrooms. So I have put in requests. So it's just sometimes the piano just takes some time to tune it. But also, sometimes playing on an out of tune piano, when you play a fifth and you get a tritone, that's not ideal. But also, there's something charming about like a honky tonk kind of sound. So I don't know. Sometimes I think it really bothers people. But to those people, I'll say, just see past it. See past the tuning and think, hey, these chords are pretty cool. Here's one that I think is really funny that a lot of people say a lot to me, and it's that left hand stretch is ridiculous. And to that, I'll see, yes, yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. I am a very tall person. I'm 6'6", and my hands are big. I have easy 11ths in my hands, and I can stretch to a 12th, but that's like an unreasonable thing to do in a normal context. But tenths, I can do parallel tenths all day long, and it's one of those things where it's become a really important part of my sound as I play because I'm able to get that kind of I highlight the overtones, right? I love the voicing of root, fifth, third, and I do that in the left hand. I think that's such a good sound. But some people are like, "How am I supposed to play this? My hands aren't huge." So what I recommend always is modify to your ability, and you can always roll chords, and you can always use the sustain pedal to cheat. So. Here's another one that comes up a lot, and I just want to clarify about this. So, if you do a similar video in the future, you should add the number of the chord, the Roman numeral. And to that, I'll say it doesn't always apply, right? Roman numerals are super useful if you're within the context of a key, or even if you're in the context of some, modal tonic. So if you're not in a key, or if you're constantly going from key to key, sometimes it's just a little cumbersome to try to assign Roman numerals to those chords where just a lead sheet symbol gets the job done a lot easier. And sometimes even lead sheet symbols don't tell you the full story. Like for my bitonal videos, I don't write D13, right? I don't write D major 13. I'll say in this hand I'll play D major, and in my right hand I'll play E major because conceptually I feel like it's easier to parse that out. You can really hear the bitonality rather than saying, "Oh, here's this really thick complex chord." So sometimes context is important. Actually, well, context is always important. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt, sell some merch. Let's hear that in context. But yeah, sometimes I just think Roman numerals aren't as useful for the kind of thing that I'm trying to showcase for you. Now, if you look back to my earlier videos, I was doing Roman numerals all the time. So check that out, and I'll still occasionally do them when it applies, but yeah, not always. And the last thing is I want to address a negative comment that has come up not frequently, but sometimes. But this one person, I'll read this exact comment word for word because it really made an impact on me, and I think it beautifully shows the whole point of what I'm trying to do with this short series and with my channel and with my music just in general. So here's the comment. Everything sounds bad in this video. Your piano, the chord progression, the chord. The only thing that's okay is your voice. What's the point of showing something that is not useful? And this comment and comments like it, they stagger me because it's such a close-minded perspective because music is so diverse. Something that you don't like might be something that someone else does like. Something that you think sounds bad to somebody else might sound good. So in my classrooms, I will never say, I practically never say, hey, that sounds bad. Hey, that sounds good. Because that kind of subjective language is useless when you're trying to educate. When you're trying to show people just actual musical things, musical content, chords, scales, whatever. Saying that, oh, this chord sounds good, but this chord sounds bad, that means nothing, right? That is absolutely useless information. It's just this chord sounds like this, and this chord sounds like this, and this is how they interact with one another. That's a lot more useful. So I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what's good, what's bad. I just want to show things. And if you think they're cool, that's awesome. If you think they're not cool, that's also awesome. Because frankly, music, successful music, is music that elicits an emotional response. If you feel nothing after you listen to a piece of music, that is a failure of a piece. If you feel joy, if you feel anger, if you feel upset, if you feel happy, that is successful because then the piece of music has brought out some kind of emotion from you. Whether it's good or bad, doesn't matter. The piece has done something, and that's a success. So that's my response to that. And frankly, for all of my music, I'm not seeking to be accessible. I'm not seeking for people to be like, oh, this is such a crowd pleaser. That's awesome. I don't care about that. I care about making the music something that the performers want to perform, something that is engaging for whoever is performing the music, whether it's myself or whether it's other people. That is priority number one. Priority number two is, does this music express part of me that I need to express? I don't think about the audience at all. Maybe that's controversial. Maybe that's a crazy way to think, but that's how I think. And that's honestly the way that I think. So I just want you to know that when I see comments like this, it makes me a little bit sad because I wish that there was bigger sense of open-mindedness in the broader musical community and also just frankly in the world because every day we get more insular and it's you versus them or me versus you or blah blah blah, one group versus another group, and there's just seems to be no way of people to just kind of like accept. And if you can just take the step of saying, "Hey, maybe this music isn't for me, but that's okay." Can you imagine if we did that out in the greater world? Like we would solve everything. But unfortunately, that's just how it is, and it makes me sad. It makes me really sad. I want to close with a story of one of my teachers, the late great David McBride. He would come into the music library where I worked, and he would every year have a stack of scores. They're all Richard Wagner, Richard Wagner. Okay, and I would always say to them, "Really? You're checking that out? I didn't take you for a Wagner fan." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah. Every year I do this, and it's to remind myself why I don't like it." And I think that is so interesting. What an interesting perspective. Because here's someone who is going through, listening, actively listening, trying to understand what it is about this that maybe doesn't work for them. But they're not dismissing the music. They're actively trying to understand the music and trying to figure out a way to coincide with it, live with it. And I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I wish more people did that. So there you go, folks. Thank you. 5,000 subscribers. Let's get to 10,000. We're almost at 1.5 million views. Let's get to 2 million views. And keep your eyes peeled for future content, future interesting things that are going to come out. And just keep watching the daily shorts, keep watching things. I really, really appreciate every single one of you who tunes in. So thank you. Let's keep going. Have an awesome day.